Hi everyone, welcome to today's SPAG lesson. So if you remember, SPAG means spelling, punctuation, and grammar. And today we're going to be focusing on the grammar aspect, which is to use adverbs and adverbial phrases. Now, we did do this last week as well, so there should be a little bit of a recap, a little bit of extra practice for you on how to recognize and use adverbs and adverbial phrases. Okay? So, what is an adverb or adverbial? An adverb or adverbial is a word or a phrase, okay, that's a group of words that describes or adds meaning to words other than nouns. And if you remember, nouns are people, places, animals, things, okay, or times or ideas. Those are nouns, but an adverb describes or adds meaning to words other than nouns. Do you guys remember what word is used to describe a noun? Okay, think about that descriptive word. It is an adjective, okay? Adjectives are used to describe nouns. Adverbs and adverbials describe or add meaning to words other than nouns, okay? Now, adverbs tell us how, when, or where something has happened, okay? Those are the key things you need to remember. They tell us how, when, or where something happened. So if something is happening, that means it's usually a verb, okay? If something is happening, if you're doing something, if something is happening, it's usually a verb. It's an action, okay? And adverbs will tell us how, when, or where. So for example of how, in the blink of an eye or quietly. An example of when, it could be a few minutes earlier, it could be soon, it could be later, it could be in the evening. It all tells you when. And where? Well, there's no end to where things could happen: at the park, at the shops, at the cinema. It could happen inside, it could happen outside. There's loads of times where you can describe where something happens, okay? So keep in mind, you're thinking about how, you're thinking about when, and you're thinking about where something happens, okay? If there is a word or phrase that describes this, then it is called an adverbial, okay? So our first activity, which we will do together, is to see how many adverbs or adverbials we can spot. Okay. He stretched sleepily and then suddenly realized it was Monday. Okay. Is there anything in that sentence that tells you how something happened or when something happened? Okay. Have a think about that. Immediately, he jumped out of bed and quickly threw his clothes on. Okay, what about that sentence? Does it tell you how? Does it tell you when? Okay, it might tell you how he threw his clothes on. It might tell you when he jumped out of bed. If there are words that describe that, they're called adverbials. Okay. You can write these down if you want, but you can also just think about it in your head. Okay, so just think about it or write it down if you would like. Falling clumsily down the stairs, he cracked his knee loudly against the banister. Okay, so reading that sentence, what's happening? How is it happening? Where is it happening? Okay, he cracked his knee. How did he crack his knee? Okay, hurriedly, he tipped cereal into, sorry, little mistake over there. He tipped cereal into his bowl, okay, slopped some milk in, and hungrily wolfed down the mixture. So hurriedly, he tipped his cereal into his bowl. How did he tip his cereal into his bowl? He slopped some milk in and hungrily wolfed down the mixture. How did he eat it? Okay, if you can answer those questions, that means you are identifying the adverbs. He glanced quickly in the mirror and realized his jumper was on back to front. A silly mistake. Okay. So hopefully you've either written them down or just thought about what the adverbs could be. And on the next slide, here are our answers. Now, hopefully I've typed all of them up. I've highlighted all of them. So sleepily, how did he stretch? He stretched sleepily. And then suddenly realized it was Monday. Okay, suddenly, he did it all of a sudden. So when did he do? He suddenly realized. Immediately, okay, when? Immediately. He jumped out of bed. And how? Well, he quickly threw his clothes on. Now here's like almost like a double adverbial. How did he fall? Well, he was falling clumsily. And where did he fall? Down the stairs. So falling clumsily down the stairs. That whole phrase over there is an adverbial. Okay. He cracked his knee loudly against the banister. How did he tip his cereal into? Oh, there's that mistake again. Sorry. Let's delete that. How did he tip his cereal? Hurriedly. Hurriedly, he tipped cereal into his bowl, slopped some milk in, and hungrily wolfed down the mixture. So how did he wolf it? Hungrily. He glanced quickly in the mirror and realized that unfortunately his jumper was on back to front. A silly mistake. Okay, so hopefully you were able to get all of those adverbials. If you got some of them, well done. Don't worry if you didn't get all of them. But if you got most or a few of them, you are able to identify adverbs, which is a good sign. Okay, so as I kept saying, an adverbial phrase answers one of three questions. It answers how. So, how did she eat? She ate very noisily. She ate with great gusto. That means she ate with a lot of enthusiasm. Okay, so how did she eat? It answers where did she eat? She ate in the kitchen. And it answers when did she eat? So, when did she eat? She ate in the morning or before school. She ate her breakfast. Okay, does that make sense? So how did she eat? She ate noisily, she ate quickly, she ate slowly, she ate like a snail, she ate like a lion. Okay, all of those tell you how she ate. Where? In the kitchen, in her living room, at the shop, at the restaurant. Okay, all of those tell you where, and they're all adverbials. When? In the morning, in the night, in the evening, after lunch. Well, I don't know why she would eat after lunch, but maybe she was hungry again and she ate after lunch. Okay. Before school, all of these tell you when. And remember, as we talked about last week, if it goes at the beginning, it is a fronted adverbial. Okay. So that's your fronted adverbial there because it goes at the front of a sentence and it needs to have that comma. Okay. Right. Now you do need to write this down on a piece of paper. Can you spot the adverbial phrases in these sentences? Okay. Can you spot the adverbial phrases in these sentences? So pause the video, have a go. There are 4 sentences. Can you spot the adverbial? Remember, it tells you how, it tells you when, it tells you where. On Tuesday, I will go to the cinema. Which words in that sentence tell you when something will happen? Number 2, she fell like a log. Which words in that sentence tell you how she fell? Number 3, she played her flute quite brilliantly. Which words tell you how she played her flute? Okay, once you think about that, you'll find your adverbial. And the last one, he read in his bedroom. Which words tell you where he read? Okay, so it's when, how, where. Once you spot those phrases, you have spotted the adverbials. Okay, so write them down. And now you can mark it yourselves. So, on Tuesday tells you when you will go to the cinema. And as you've noticed, I've got that little comma there because it's going at the front. She fell, how? She fell like a log. Okay, how did she fall? She fell like a log. Number 3, she played her flute quite brilliantly. How did she play? Well, she played quite brilliantly. And number 4, where did he read? In his bedroom is your answer. Okay? So, Now, it's time for you to do it by yourself. Can you add some adverbials of your own? Remember, adverbials tell you how, they tell you when, they tell you where. And your second thing to remember, if you're writing adverbial which goes at the front, you need a comma. So think to yourself, how did he throw the ball? Or when did he throw the ball? Or where did he throw the ball? How did she dress? When did she dress? Where did she dress? Okay, so you can write these answers down. And when you have finished that, you have completed your SPAG lesson, and hopefully you have a better understanding or a really solid understanding of what adverbials are. Okay, so thank you, Year 3, for joining. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Hope you're very clear on what adverbials are. Okay, bye.